When I was a child, this scene ruined me. Classic Doctor Who is sometimes very weird. You get the sense that every special effect and every newly birthed creature was an ongoing experiment for them. Sometimes the result was pretty funny, and other times the intent to scare would be achieved with maximum effect. And I'm going to talk about one particularly frightening scene which still holds today. The most classic form of Auton is that of the plastic mannequin, not you Rory, and not even these Eccleston chasers from 2005. That's what I'm talking about. These eyeless nasties from 1970. Aren't they horrid? The Autons and their Nestine controller were introduced right at the start of Jon Pertwee's tenure and assured fans that Doctor Who's scariest moments were still yet to come. Skip one more season down the line and we saw another introduction. The Master, and his debut story was Terror of the Autons. Terror of the Autons saw the return of those plastic nightmare creatures, a little different looking now and given to wearing these dashing outfits. But being able to embed their consciousness in more than one kind of plastic disguise allowed them to also carry out their monstrous carnage in the form of a telephone cord, a daffodil, the deadliest armchair ever invented, and this... Having undergone the hostile takeover of a plastics manufacturer, the Master begins the production of all kinds of wacky Auton-infused inventions, and in hushing up all those who oppose his plot to destroy all mankind, gives this troll doll to retired business owner Mr. Farrell. It didn't matter that Mr. Farrell declined ownership of this, and I quote, disgusting object. The Master simply frisbeed it into the back of Farrell's car, having already spiked his aircon in order to wake the cursed creature. On the drive home, it comes to life. A little bit. Mr. Farrell retires to his dwellings, has a conversation with his wife who declares categorically that there's something evil about it, and then he sits in his chair to read a newspaper. Then the doll kills him. The scene where the doll comes to life on the living room mantel is easily one of the creepiest moments in the entire history of Doctor Who. I mean, I don't know where to start. The way it moves, that eerie soundtrack. At one point when it stands up, it kind of looks like it's brushing a bit of dust off its leg. To this day, I still really don't know what it is I'm looking at. I mean, yeah, I figure it's someone in a costume in front of a superimposed background. There were a lot of superimposed backgrounds in this particular story, but it looks like there's some kind of post-production tinkering at work, either with the speed or the frame rate that makes it look almost stop motion. And that shot where he runs across the living room floor, simply horrid. Look how small he is there! Good bit of screaming there too. We also need to consider that the early Jon Pertwee Doctor Who seasons saw the transitions from black and white broadcast to colour broadcast, and this transition wasn't very consistent. Many of the episodes are known to exist in both colour and in black and white during various points across history, and I distinctly remember seeing this for the first time in black and white. It was during the 1992 BBC Doctor Who documentary Resistance is Useless, during a segment titled Behind the Sofa. I'd only seen a handful of Doctor Who eps at this point, I wasn't really clued in on what Autons were, and there was no internet to do the research, and so this grainy grey clip manifested with zero context. I wasn't to know that in the subsequent episode, Captain Yates would successfully blast this creature to bits. Thank you, Captain Yates. And so, as far as I was concerned, it was out there, sleeping with the lights on tonight. In an attempt to address some of the bizarreness gone into these scenes, the doll effects were completely redone as part of the Blu-ray release of Doctor Who Season 8, and credit where it's due. The team responsible did a really good job of combining a retro style of effects with visual plausibility and in more than one place. But for my money, the mind-boggling ridiculousness of the original scenes are unbeatable. The very fact that this beastly creature jars with his surroundings is what makes him so scary in my opinion. The more time that has passed, the weirder it looks. So consider this video a small tribute to this marvellously disturbing moment. I respect some of the Auton placement used in the new Who episodes, especially during that excellent twist at the end of the Pandorica opens. But overall, I think they've missed a trick with just how unsettling they can potentially make these creatures in the modern era. I'm sure that the creative team are imaginative enough to know that something over the computer effects is called for. Maybe some kind of model or something. I mean, hey, Autons could be anything plastic, right? So, the weirder the better. Surrealism is something I'd love to see more of in Doctor Who. But I digress. Thank you, Doctor Who, for ruining 1 year of my childhood sleep. What are your scariest Doctor Who moments? Let me know in the comments, and if you liked watching this, check out my video on which Cybermen worked best. Have a good one.